Hello, BookTube. Well, it's been a while since I've done a book haul. It seems that in my absence, lots of conflict, lots of danger has happened. I've been thinking about it, and it seems I pulled a bit of a Gavrilo Princip and instigated warfare and then dipped. So the Hall Wars have been going on, and I've been absently watching from the wings in delighted fashion. And it's been pretty great just to see people just going back and forth and getting different beautiful books. But needless to say, Steve Donahue has been book hauling left and right and just pulling book after book after book after book from the Brattle Book Shop, and I can't stand by anymore and just watch this. So I'm going to have to make a little bit of a counteroffensive. But I will just go ahead and admit up front that I don't have the Brattle. And when I did my book hauls, that was a one-time library sale. But I'm traveling right now. I'm not in my hometown. I'm in California visiting Anbi, which is why I'm not in my fairy elven boudoir. And there's a used bookstore here that was pretty cheap. And in a good way. Good deal, cheap. And I got some books, and I'm gonna, as I say in the title of this video, strike the sun. You know, it's been insulting me, and it's time to push through the mask. So I've got some books, and we're going to talk about them. Before we get started, I want to mention that I have not forgotten about April Adventures. I've made two videos. I think two videos that I'm really, really happy and proud of. But they took me a really long time to make because I made original songs and recorded them and made montages and had to read the books and everything, or got to, really, read the books. But I've read 3 books since then for April Adventures. I've read The Jungle Books by Rudyard Kipling, which I finished on the plane ride over here, and this was fantastic. I was in this world. This created a world that I could inhabit. It was amazing, and I was writing the song for that video this morning. I read The Maltese Falcon by Dashiell Hammett, which I've already recorded and finished the song for, and I'll probably record that when I get back home, that video. And then I've also read Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson, which was unbelievably good. Like, everything I could have ever expected and imagined and hoped for with a book from knowing about it, and I'm super excited to make a video on that. So I've recorded footage for almost all 3 of those, and so even though April is over, I'm just going to make it like a Maypril Adventures type adventure. So I hope you look forward to those. I hope you've enjoyed the previous 2. And without further ado, let's just get into the books that I got from this used bookstore. The first one I'll start with, I got some piles right here. I'll start with this one, because this I mentioned in the other book hauls. I thought I had all 6 Jane Austen books, but I didn't. So I grabbed Sense and Sensibility, because this is the only missing Jane Austen novel, completed novel, for my collection. So this is a beautiful kind of gossipy painting cover that I really like. And I'm really excited to get to this. I'll just put this next to the Jane Austens, and it could be the first Jane Austen book I get to. Although I'm leaning towards Emma right now. I'm leaning towards reading Emma first before then. And I've read Pride and Prejudice twice, so I need to give another Jane Austen book a try before I go back to that book, which I love. The second one is Mark Twain, Roughing It. This is his non-fiction travel writing around America. And, of course, y'all will know Mark Twain from Huckleberry Finn and Tom Sawyer, and he's just one of the funniest guys speaking the American tongue. So I'm really excited for this because I also like to travel, and I hope someday to go to all the places that Mr. Twain has visited. Incidentally, I went to, oh no, I'm blanking the name. When I was in Germany, I went to the German town, the student town, because I was in Freiburg, and he was in, slipping my mind, but he lived in Germany for a little while, in one of the famous university towns, and wrote a bunch of, or came up with certain ideas for, I think, Tom Sawyer or Huckleberry Finn, if I'm not mistaken, but could be mistaken. But Mark Twain, amazing writer. I'm really stoked to get to this. These next 2 are Randy Ray books. The first one is one that he just mentioned on a video he made of his 6 favorite modern classics. This is All the King's Men by Robert Penn Warren. And some booktubers have been reading this recently, actually. It may have been Joshua Crebo, but I'm not sure. But I'm really excited to have this. This has sketches done by the previous owner of the book that are really beautiful. I hope you can see them within the glare. Yeah, there you go. So that's so cool. It's so cool having these books and finding little things in them. It even has writing in either Russian or Ukrainian in the Slavic script, which is really cool. And something about this Mark Twain book is that this had like a shamrock custom bookmark that was really beautiful. Really kind of cute and cool. So that's one of the joys of getting these old books. So yeah, Robert Penn Warren's All the King's Men. The first paragraph that Randy Ray read was really good. The prose was delightful, and I think he mentioned that Robert Penn Warren was a poet. So I'm really excited to get to this at some point. And the next Randy Ray book is Travels with Charlie by John Steinbeck. And Randy Ray commented on a video of mine that if I would like to do a read-along of this, that he would love to. And I had not heard of this book, so I said, yeah, of course, if I see it, I'll grab it. So I got it. I'm really excited, and I've just been reading a little bit around it from the back cover and the front pages, and it's great, and it's funny, too. So hopefully Randy Ray and I will make a read-along of this some point in the future. That would be great. Okay, next. Oh, cool. This is perfect. Captain's Courageous by Rudyard Kipling. Like I said, I just finished the Jungle Books. And this is a pretty slim work. It's much shorter than the two Jungle Books. But I just wanted to get more into him because his writing was wonderful. Not much more to be said about this. I don't really know anything about it. I have Kim by Rudyard Kipling, but maybe I'll go to this before I get to Kim because it's shorter. So we'll see how it goes. The next one is going to be wonderful. So for my Treasure Island video, I went rock climbing, and I filmed at this rock climbing location in Alabama that I love. And many, many, many years ago, maybe like 8 or 9 years ago, well, I guess that's not many, but for a young person like myself, many years ago, I was at that rock climbing location reading this book, Flatland, A Romance of Many Dimensions. This, if you've not heard of this book, I would really recommend it. It is told from the perspective of a two-dimensional shape. I think it's a square, describing basically dreams that the square has traveling to a dimension, like single dimension, like a single line. And he can see that the inhabitants living in this line. Imagine if you were a living thing just on a line. If you were to look from that, all you can see is just a single point in space, right? But he knows that they're actually all on a line. And then, of course, he's eventually visited by a three-dimensional shape. And he living as a square, all he can see is a line. He can't see two dimensions. But the three-dimensional shape, like us, we're three-dimensional shapes. We see, when we look out, two dimensions into the whole plane. And the three-dimensional shape is just like, man, you're missing out on the greater, truth of the universe because you can only see like a line. And then, of course, you're supposed to extrapolate as the reader that a four-dimensional being would see and feel all three dimensions at once. So that's just pretty cool. It's great writing. It's pretty fun. Very short. Just a great, simple thought experiment. I was pretty young when I read this, and so it was very understandable to me. And I bet a lot of people who read this book when they're young probably get into math and science just because it's so fun and delightful and interesting to think about it. It maybe has some crossover between the sciences and also like philosophy and that kind of thing. So really great book. I'd recommend it. Oh, this is actually another Randy Ray thing, sort of. This is Shakespeare Sonnets in this beautiful hardcover. And Randy Ray is going through right now for his Lone Star Book Club all of the sonnets by Shakespeare. And I have them all here. And they're just have beautiful little illustrations, very simple for certain sonnets, about half of them. And I opened this and read the first one. And, beautiful opening. This is very elegant. This doesn't have any critical commentary either. It's just the sonnets, which in a way I kind of like. I think I would like to have a volume of critical comments and also just one that's like this. It's beautiful and plain. And I think I'll go through this first, then do the critical one, and then maybe go through other critical ones, and then return to this one once I feel like I have a grasp of them, once I possess them. But when I read the first sonnet to myself, I had this great experience that I'm sure probably a lot of y'all have with poetry where you don't necessarily understand the literal meaning of what is happening, who are the characters, who are the players in the sonnet, and what is really going on. But you feel this energy buzzing beneath it of just some sort of beauty, of something is happening there. Maybe you can call it like there's an emotional meaning that you get or glean. I think there's lots of different meanings to be gotten from immortal literature like Shakespeare sonnets. But this also has an inscription in it. Or not an inscription, but a post-it, and it says, "Tommy, you have been indispensable. I couldn't ask for a more understanding and really cool advisor. Happy holidays to you and your family, Joshua." So Joshua Kribo, if you're watching this and you ever came down to California and gave the sonnets to someone, I'm sorry, man. They put it in a used bookstore, but I have it now, so I'm really excited to get to them. Okay, we only have like 3 more. Technically, there's some other things that we'll chat about before the end, but this one I'm really excited about. This is P.G. Wodehouse, Jeeves. And I looked this up and I was like, which one is called Jeeves? But apparently this is The Inimitable Jeeves. This is the second book in this English humorist's stories about Bertie Wooster and his, who is a loving, small-brained man with his intellectual, brilliant, ever calm butler, Jeeves. and they're hilarious. And this is book 2, so I looked up, what is the sequence, and saw that the first book, Man Jeeves, was on Project Gutenberg, so I put it on my Kobo, and I've been reading Man Jeeves on my Kobo, like right before I go to bed and when I wake up, sort of as my warm-up reading, because this just makes me laugh out loud when I read it. There's the sentence in this one at the opening where he's describing Jeeves' intelligence, and he says something along the lines of, "I'm short on brain myself. It would appear that the old bean was made more for ornament than for use." And I just kind of like go through this and feel totally like in harmony with the cultural context of this, even though this is English culture from, I guess, like the early 1900s, and well, not necessarily early. This author famously was captured by the Germans in World War II and gave a broadcast in which he was just kind of joking and playful, and he was perceived as a traitor. I think some opinions are that he's just a non-political person who's born in a political time. But he's a great writer. He's very entertaining. So I read this and warm up, and then I read The Tale of Genji, which is sort of, in terms of culturally being on the same wavelength, in another planet for me. This is 1,000 years ago in across from the planet in Japan. So I love this book. Obviously, I've been loving it, but it takes me a bit to kind of change gears, whereas this I can just jump right into. So it's nice to kind of have those two things happening. But once I finish the Kobo, Man Jeeves, I have the real thing, the real article to read in print. So that's going to be great. All right, and these last two are the things that I'm most excited about. I saved them for last. The first is the full unabridged Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. And I mentioned this in, I think, the Book 2 video that I made with Adam during that book haul, that I had read the Count of Monte Cristo in an abridged version for school, and loved it. I loved the story. I was just so into it. And then later found the unabridged, and it was much larger, and so I read that, and I did not like it very much. I just kind of felt like it was stilted. The pacing was kind of off. I was like, oh man, it didn't really like capture the essence like that abridged version did. So and then I saw this edition in a bookstore, and this is way bigger than that unabridged. So I realized that the one that I thought was unabridged was just a larger abridged version, and now I've got the full thing. And I know people love this book, so I can't wait to give the full thing a try. I do love the story. It is one of those cases where the story is amazing, kind of like Moby Dick or the Brothers Karamazov, but there seems to be a lot else happening that can sometimes be misinterpreted as like boring parts of the book because they're not just the plot. So hopefully I can really get into this. This is a Robin Buss translation. But, saving a ton of money by getting the used version instead of the $20 or something version in the retail bookstore, it just makes me happy. It's a big, bulky book. I'm so excited. And the last one is the thing that I'm the most excited for. And that's Thomas Mann's The Magic Mountain. And this is because Joshua Kribo recently finished a reread of this on his channel and has been talking about it, and I've been loving watching him talk about it. One of my dad's friends gifted The Magic Mountain to my dad, and that friend of my dad has great taste in things in general. And this is one of those books, and I'm not sure if you can relate to this. I'm sure you can, actually, where sometimes you are surrounded by something in life and you have a spiritual attraction to it. You don't know why, you don't even really know it that much about it, but you could just kind of feel that, oh, there's gravity with this. I know I want this to be part of me in some way. And this book feels that way to me. The only thing that I don't love about this book so far is that the cover, I'm not a big yellow fan. So I'm going to rip this off. For one thing, this is old. It's kind of dry. If I were to open this fully, it would crack. But besides that, the inner pages are good. Small print, actually, and also a very large book. But I'm going to tear off this cover and make my own custom cover like I did for the Brothers Karamazov. And I actually have with me here the Jungle Book. This cover fell off. And so as you can kind of tell, it's laminated. And then I put just a little inscription on it and all that. And so it's going to be really, really good to do that with this. It's a fun arts and crafts project. And I think that's going to be something I do with books going forward. For instance, this is also like kind of falling apart. So I feel like I have a moral right to replace it. But yeah, I'm really stoked about this. One goal I have is that I'll read this in German, which would be a huge undertaking because it's so large. But I was a German major. My German's pretty decent, and it would be a good way for me to expand my vocabulary and have some fun. So yeah, The Magic Mountain. Oh, this is also the same translation that Joshua Kribo read, H.T. Low Porter. H.T. Low Porter. Let's see. Yeah, H.T. Low Porter. So I'm really, really excited. Also, the main character's name, Hans Castorp, I really like that name. I don't know how to describe it, but that feels very good. Castorp. Very, very bulbous and orbicular, as Herman Melville would say about John Jacob Astor. So yeah, that's kind of my book haul. That's my Strike at the Sun book haul for today. I'll be finishing The Tale of Genji, hopefully within this stay with Anbi, because I'm going to be focusing on this, and I'll be reading the Jeeves book kind of as a side. And then after that, I'm going to read Homer's Iliad, which I brought for the same trip, because after this, I'm going to volunteer in the Tetons in the Rocky Mountains. So that maybe I'll have Genji finished by then and start reading this there. But I probably have less time than I think I do. You know, when you're surrounded by people you love, you just end up spending time with them. And then after that, I'd like to do a Moby Dick read-along, which I'm really, really excited about. So I'll make a video about that. But yes, expect more April adventures to come, 3 more in total, with songs, with everything, just for fun. I went to the San Diego Zoo, which is, normally I'm not a fan of zoos, personally, just for the reasons that anyone would say they're not a fan of zoos. But that zoo was very, beautiful, and it seemed very, as ethical as a zoo could be. So I got some footage of jungle creatures, and that'll come into the Jungle Book video. So yeah, I'm really excited about the reading that I have ahead of me, and the reading that I've done, and the videos to make, and life, love, and booktube, and all of the above. So hope you enjoyed this little book haul. I hope you have a great May. After I'm done making my April Adventures video, I'll do like a recap of the whole event and a thank you and all that, because it's been just really fun. So don't think that I've forgotten about it. I've just been, honestly, I've been working on my own music, which is, what I do, so much that I haven't really been making like content for BookTube as much as I've just been reading and making music. But that's life, and it's great to check in with y'all and see y'all, and I'll hopefully be making some more videos just casually, because these April Adventures videos have not been casual. They've been very edited and worked upon like pieces of art. But at the end of the day, I want the BookTube channel, of course, to just be hanging out. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you next time, BookTube. Thank you.